Ah, we got a live one! So, as Beyblade X has concluded its Arc 1 with the manga, and we have already started Arc 2, I decided to try to catch up on all the content I missed out on and do my chapter reviews. I did want to kind of pose this question: are the writers of the Beyblade X manga, and in general, able to make the story interesting enough to continue on, or will this fail? By fail, I mean just not be too interesting. I do want to first of all mention, please support the official release, whether that's buying a Korokoro or buying the English translated manga volumes. With that being said, I do want to also shout out Kyo and as well Team Extreme Scanslations for any of the work, since I'll be able to talk with the panels in context. So with chapter 13, we have Bird, who's very nervous for the final battle. Multi is basically talking to him, and she's basically faking confidence here because she's actually very nervous for the final battle. We do have the entrance of Team Pendragon. So there's this whole mysterious thing with the third member, because obviously they need 3 team members, and there's Common Z. Now, the one thing I do want to say is that, obviously speaking, the anime is going to have the biggest advantage over the manga, since they can expand on the story in places where the manga could not. And because of that, the one thing is, like, Common Z is like, I don't give a shit about this character. Like, he's kind of just whatever, and obviously with the limited amount of pages per chapter that you can have with these things, it's understandable. I don't care about him. Chrome is crazy and talks to himself, and basically Multi wants to prove herself by battling Shiguru. She didn't like being comforted every time that she lost. She hated it, felt like, I guess like the idea of like getting basically pitied. And through this, you know, they basically do the whole thing with the Weiss thing, where Weiss Tiger is the ultimate balance type that has no weakness and does the extreme dash. Multi tries to counter with her extreme dash, trying out her new strategy. Both bays go into the air, and that's how the chapter ends. I think something that's really nice about chapter 13 is kind of you kind of feel a little bit of the tension going into the finale, where this is like very important for a lot of these characters going into this, trying to prove themselves. I mean, Common X is also just trying to have fun, but so I guess Bird and Multi, but it was a nice chapter. I enjoyed reading it. 14 now is where basically both bays finally land, and it's revealed that Multi's bay landed first. Even though they landed at the same time, Multi's bay lost by KO. So she's very sad that she lost, but Persona comforts her. I like that they have a very supportive team dynamic. I also like mirroring that Pendragon, nobody really cares for each other there. It's more just like, it's just at the top, it's not really like support. And Chrome just wants to go straight into facing Common. He can't wait any longer. And it's interesting because I did kind of forget how this worked in the manga. So he basically had his copy of Drawn Sword, and he discards his you know what? Fuck you, I don't care about you anymore. I have a new bay that'll take you down. And he reveals the Cobalt Daragin. After this, he reveals the flashback where Chrome is basically revealed to always been weaker than X Kurisu. And X Kurisu kept on challenging him, despite the fact that Chrome thought he was weaker. What was the point? And Exu is like, no, it's just fun to battle. And then after you see like the fixation that Chrome has had on Exu, moving on through this story, where he tried to replicate everything about him in lifestyle and everything, trying to get closer. Thought he got really close with Exu, and then after Exu's like, no, I'm leaving. And he has a lot of like anger and like this void in him. So then after, when he's leading into Cobalt Dragoon, it's like trying to replace that void. He has like this copy of Exu because he's tried to relive all of the experience. He's tried to fill that void and tried to show that, listen, I am better than you. I have this bay. I'll show you. I'll beat you with the same techniques that you have. I think it's nice writing for Chrome, and I think it's one of the most interesting antagonists probably for Beyblade. The thing is, because this is the manga territory, this is different from anime territory. Manga territory, I'll say one of the most interesting, because Burst has some pretty good antagonists, I would say, and pretty good writing there, so I'll just say one of the most interesting that we've seen in Beyblade. Basically, use Dragonic Break, because it's revealed his bay is left, and Dragonic Break, very powerful, goes for the full extreme dash, breaks Buster, and then after the chapter ends, I think this is a very nice chapter, because this sets up the fact that Chrome is absolutely cuckoo crazy since Common X left, and he's trying to prove himself with his resolve, and I think Chrome is interesting in the manga. Is very interesting in the manga. I think, even though I think the anime expands on it a lot more, I think it's still good for what the manga had offered. 15 is where Chrome is like, listen, I don't care that your base broken, you can replace it with whatever. And it kind of is interesting when they do that, because it's like he's trying to prove that he's better than X Kurisu in every possible way. So one by one, he'll destroy all these bays, and he'll use the exact same techniques. So when he gets Drawn Dagger, he uses the Infinity Dragonic Break, and then after he breaks Drawn Dagger, after that, like, he's obviously very excited that he's getting a real challenge out of this. It's really funny too, because when he was talking to Chrome, he was like, oh man, you just let me win, didn't you? Chrome's like, wait, so you only see me just for like battles? So he gets very, very angry and starts like throwing like basically like a tantrum. And then after, when the battle happens, X Kurisu replicates the same technique that he just saw, does it even better, and shatters Chrome's mental copy of X Kurisu and defeats him. He's very happy that he was able to, you know, improve and get stronger, and he thanks Chrome for the wonderful battle. And Chrome basically says like, hey, he always wanted to be needed by X Kurisu. That's the feeling that he wanted. And when he tries to go to shake his hand, he faints. Yeah, I think it's a good conclusion for Chrome, and it's a good conclusion for Common X's arc. I think once you get to Shiaru, which he's basically revealed to be like the strong amateur, it's kind of whatever. It's not, I lean on more the territory of just, it's kind of meh, because obviously it would have been nice if we could have had more expanded on for it, but again, there's a limited amount of pages, so it's fine. I don't care too much for Shiaru in the manga and his reveal, like who he is. But it's almost to the point where I would have said, why even give him the mask? You could have, I don't know. Anyways, basically when Bird battles, Bird's like, hey, I'm not doing this for fame or recognition, just to have fun. It reinforces the thing we've seen since the start. Beyblade's about having fun. He tries to replicate Chrome's Dragonic Break, or Chrome and Common X's Dragonic Break. Shiaru's like, no, there's no way, this is bullshit. You can't do that. You're a fucking fraud. You can't just do a technique that you saw. And Common's like, well, listen, he's been constantly taking strong opponents. He'll prove through the adversity that he can do it. And then after he goes for the extreme dash, it's like, oh, did he win by extreme finish? And the manga has this correct, where he just bursts. Now, when I say correct, is that the anime version, he does an extreme finish, and his bay stopped spinning before the extreme finish completed, but it was so stupid. The manga is simple. He lost by burst. Instead of Bird being upset at the end, he's like, well, I had fun. And I think the ending is, it's okay. And I think in general for the anime too, like the ending is fine. The only difference that the anime had the advantage over is just, there's more kind of, you have more attachment because of the fact that they give more backstory to certain things, like Shigeru versus Multi, or especially Common Zed, and kind of caring about him a little bit more, because he's been trying to prove that he should have a purpose in Pendragon, that he is worthy to be on this team. And in the manga, you don't care like that much, I would say. Like, I don't care that much about it, but in the anime, I did. I think him losing whatever, it's fine, whatever, I guess. I don't really care for him losing the final battle, per se. I think the anime had his growth a little bit more stronger, where you see him practicing, where you see him trying to learn and adapt and try to be smarter. And the issue when the manga is so limited, you don't get that as much, which is like the unfortunate part. So, yeah. I'm just trying to go as condensed as possible for this type of stuff. Now, the latest chapter, which is where we get Tenka Shiraboshi, we basically see at the start that Pendragon is still at the top, and we see other teams that are climbing. So we see Yggdrasil versus Zuganic. This was like quick promo, I guess, for Rudder and Crest. I don't know if they actually are going to continue in another chapter, which I guess we'll eventually see. Persona is basically bumped to rank 55, so like they're like, I guess in the middle of the tower, slightly above. It's going to take them a while before they can catch up again. Common loses motivation because he basically achieved his goal, where he beats Chrome, he beats who is the strongest, so he doesn't really have anything else to do, so he kind of just fucks off. So then after, Tenka Shiraboshi appears, challenging Team Persona. Now she's from the Shiraboshi school. Now she wants to challenge them, but because they're pros, and this whole thing with how the pros things work, she's like, well, if I buy sushi, can I battle? And then after, what was it, Taisha's like, oh, okay. So Meiko offers to battle her since she won't leave, and it's revealed that she has Whale Wave. And the biggest thing that I was surprised with, and I was talking to Kyo about this when when I was reading it, I was like, wait, so what is it? Whale Wave is an attack type. In the official, like, I think it was like on the Asia promo, Whale Wave was intended to be an attack type. Elevate was a lot different from what it was supposed to be. They changed the last minute to balance, and it makes so much sense because Whale Wave is like 38 grams, and that's been only capped at attack types for the weights for those blades. Small tangent, but aside from that, basically, so it's a little bit funny, we get basically like technically proto Whale Wave in this chapter. But basically, she's talking about the Shiraboshi style, and she has her base Samurai Saber. I absolutely, by the way, love Tenka's design. I think she's really cool. She has like little shark teeth, and Samurai Saber I also think is really, really nice. I'm hoping we can have like a very cool samurai base, because I just want to cut opponents in half and obliterate them with an attack type. So I'm very excited for that release that's going to be coming out. But basically through this battle, Mako's Bay tries to go for a lot of the hits, and then after, she just absolutely obliterates Whale Wave with a KO. Then after, she's going to basically just challenge Multi, and Multi's like, well, wait, I'm not even in cosplay, so let me first change before I do that. And then Tenka's like, well, you telling me you got a cosplay just to get into the mood, so you ain't shit. And Multi takes the bait. And then after it's Shield versus Saber, and then after we kind of get a little bit more of how the gimmick is supposed to work. Even I'm kind of struggling to understand this. I'll just put up the manga panel. If someone wants to try to explain how it works, I thought there was like, it's the idea of like high spin or whatever, that like it's like one shape, then it goes to a different shape, and then it's supposed to be, oh, this is like completed or whatever. Anyways, Shield gets obliterated. Then after, Common X gets excited because there's a new opponent. Anyways, Common X basically speed blitzes her, and then after just wins with the Unseen X. Basically at the start of the battle, which was like, is like, hey, if I win, I get to order you around, and if you win, I'll answer and give you what you want. And what Common X wants is a strong opponent. So afterwards, when the match is over with, and Multi's like, well, wait a minute, so you would have done it regardless, because if you had won, you would have just taken him either way, and if you lost, you would have just went under like this veil of like, oh, I'll give you the specific thing that you wanted. That's kind of nice. So then after, they're gonna go to like the Shiraboshi place or whatever. I thought this was like a really, really cool way to make things interesting, where you give Common X a different purpose, where Team Persona can move on to different places. There are other towers that they can conquer. I think this is a lot more interesting than them going all the way to the middle of the tower to try to climb all the way back up. It would feel very boring if they kind of did it like that. They're already at the middle, so it makes more sense that they kind of just start exploring around and then after trying to find other strong opponents. But what did you think of this chapter? What do you want to see moving on this season? I don't know, I guess he's still technically an amateur, so whatever. But let me know your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, please, and comment. And by the way, monobays.com. We have Japanese Beyblade X products. It's an optional way to support the channel. I appreciate any and all supports regardless. And yeah, this was like a fun video to get into the discussion of Beyblade X, especially for like the story and all that stuff. So anyways, with that being said, I want to say thank you all for watching. Out of chapter 13, 14, 15, and 16, what chapter did you like? Let me know, let me know, let me know. And yeah, I'm very excited to see Samurai Saber and more of it, and also see like what other things can they do with it. Like, is there going to be like a theme base? Like Zuganic, there was kind of a theme. Yggdrasil there wasn't, Pendragon there was, Persona there was. So I'm curious what theme they could go with. Anyways, thank you all for watching. That'll be it for now. Take care and bye!